Our story begins with an aerial view of a North American city called Snowfield, as a news report plays over it detailing an explosion in the surrounding desert, presumably caused by a gas company accident. According to the reporter, not only has the army blocked off all transit routes to the desert, but they've also restricted airspace access while they investigate this accident. Because that's not sus at all. Totally normal. As the reporter's voice fades into the background, we watch a dude leaving the site of the explosion while whining about how the next 7 days are going to be a pain. And cue intro music. This is a banger. Meanwhile, in a completely different area of the city, a blonde chick with glasses walks into a random store while hauling a suitcase behind her. Instantly, after greeting the clerk there, a guy who's trying way too hard to give off punk vibes, she asks if there are any cheap motels around. The punk wannabe in question is surprisingly helpful in response, actually drawing up a whole map for her since he can tell she's not from around here. Gee, what gave it away? The luggage, the accent, or the request? Anywho, the dude proceeds to totally geek out when he finds out the girl's from Japan and asks her a bunch of questions that almost overwhelm her. He even points out the tattoo on her hand, though this just prompts on a full-on schizo episode for the girl, who starts seeing a vision of some angel lady telling her to fight in the Holy Grail War. By the time the girl, Ayaka, snaps back to reality, the cashier stepped towards the store entrance to yap about the army choppers over the area recently being bad for business. As Ayaka joins him to take a look at these choppers, the girl's blissfully unaware of the CCTV camera nearby, transmitting a live feed of her to an observer. On the other side of the feed, we see the same gloomy dude from earlier in the desert, and he looks far from happy. This might just be his default face though. Getting a zoomed in and enhanced look at the tattoo on Ayaka's hand, he instantly recognizes it as what's called a common spell, as he's approached by a woman who can only possibly identify as Mommy. We learn this man is Director Faldeus of some secret organization. As the two of them observe Ayaka, Faldeus wonders if she's taunting them by not even attempting to be stealthy, fully unaware that the girl's just totally clueless of her situation. Honestly, she's just like me right now. Moving on from that, Faldeus and Mommy discuss the explosion in the desert and what could have caused it, prompting her to bring up footage of all the families found on scene with strange bruising. According to their analysis, this is probably caused by some new disease or curse. Either way, Faldeus is pretty sure they can class this as something related to the Grail War that's on the horizon. What's a Grail War? A battle royale fought by stands that are actually the spirits of fictional and historical heroes and summoned by a group of chosen humans that are marked with command seals. The reward's a holy grail with Dragon Ball levels of wish-granting power. Phew! That was a mouthful. Now that y'all got that part, hopefully at least we can take a look at the participants that Faldeus has identified. Namely, 2 kids, a wolf, and the local police chief. Yes, you heard that right. More important than that, however, are the potential participants that can't be confirmed. Jester Kaltulet, a psychotic researcher of some sort, and the Kuroka couple, who've declined from participating in the Grail War, which is pretty unlike them. Of course, the evil-looking Rash might just be part of that. With so many unknown variables, Valdez comments on how keeping a Holy Grail War concealed from the general public is a grueling job. Finally, revealing what his organization's role is in all this. At the same time, we see a strange, seemingly childlike girl puppeting an agent within Snowfield. Her goals unknown. Meanwhile, over in England, a meeting of two powerful individuals is underway. One is El Mallory, the second, Lord of the Clock Tower, while the other is actually Valdez's former mentor, Langau. Here, the two discuss current upcoming Grail War in the States, and the parties working behind the scenes. According to Mallory, there's a group working to keep the Grail War secret from the public, while another is trying to publicize and expand it for the purpose of researching the Grail itself once it manifests. Most unsettling of all, however, is that Mallory's got a hunch someone out there is trying to undermine this war and turn it into little more than a game or show. As he says this, we're once again given a glimpse of the strange childlike girl from before, watching the world's events through a crystal while munching on popcorn. Yeah! I would say that hunch is spot on! Back with Ayaka, she takes the map the store clerk's drawn up for her and asks unexpected question of if any of the motels have elevators. As soon as he tells her they don't, the girl turns and leaves and hands the guy way too much money for his help. Shocking, even him. When he calls out to tell her that though, Ayaka just smiles at him sadly and says she probably won't get to use it anyways. Man, talk about depressing. Unfortunately, the girl's prediction comes true literally moments after leaving the store, as an unfamiliar figure sneaks up on her and kidnaps her in record time. With Ayaka knocked out, the scene shifts to introduce another pair of characters, a regal-looking warrior of a man and a complete freak called Castor. As the two speak over the phone, or more like Castor flexes his spying capabilities thanks to the internet and proceeds to blackmail his so-called brother into getting him some delicious food. Amazing stuff! Back to Ayaka. The poor girl's having yet another schizo episode revolving around the white-clad woman who insists that if Ayaka doesn't fight in the Grail War, the curse will devour her life. For better or for worse, that shocks her into waking up only to find herself bound and trapped in the middle of what looks like a summoning circle. In front of her is the man who is taking orders from the white-haired mystery loli earlier. A quick exchange between the two reveals that Ayaka's mark isn't an actual command seal, and the woman she keeps seeing is someone named Einsburn. On top of that, she has zero background as a mage and is completely clueless as to what's going on. Despite this, the man shows zero hesitation and even exploits his next actions, which are to summon the spirit known as Saber and test if it will accept a command to slay a defenseless girl like her. All because his client apparently likes toying with people. As the man starts the summoning ritual, Ayaka is left to come to terms with her impending death. At first, she tries to find peace in the fact that the woman of the curse will finally leave her alone. But within moments, the human will to live takes over, and Ayaka feels an immense desire not to die. Just like that, almost as if her will itself has come to life, an arm pierces through her captor's chest, ripping out his heart and killing him in a single instance. With the guy's blood splattered on her glasses, Ayaka comes face to face with Zabania, the spirit responsible for saving her just now and invading her personal space. Before they can interact, however, Ayaka's hand makes contact with the summoning circle below her, completing the ritual initiated by the now dead man. As the ritual's final stage commences in a blinding display, the mystery loli can be seen once again, laughing hysterically at the situation. The girl wonders just how the Atoria that summoned here will react to seeing her intended master already dead. What emerges from this summoning, however, is a spirit that shocks even the lowly. The saber that's been summoned by Ayaka, unlike most that have been summoned in the past, is a man! As soon as the saber locks eyes with Zambania, the masked woman leaps into action, zooming all over the place to confuse him. The armored man, on the other hand, is merely amused by her moves, comparing her to a companion from his own world. Sure enough, as his attitude would suggest, Saber easily deflects Zambania's attack when she comes at him for a sneak attack, forcing her on the defensive. Smile still in place, Saber proceeds to draw his sword, the legendary Excalibur, and unleashes a blast with it so fast and powerful that it eviscerates both Zambania and the top of the building they're inside. That's what it seems like, at least. But as the dust settles, Saber comments on how the woman managed to escape. Regardless, right now, his priority is asking Ayaka if she is his master. Shockingly enough, Ayaka tells him she isn't, and she refuses to be anything that others want her to be from here on out too. Almost as if to spite her, the exact moment is when the local law enforcement arrives on the scene, surrounding her and Saber and arresting them for the explosion just now. From there, the two are escorted down to the ground level, where they're to be taken into custody while the world watches. Back in his office, Valdeas finds this to be quite the hassle, but believes it can still be covered up. That is, until Saber decides to jump up onto a wall and deliver passionate speech to the whole world. Not only revealing its full name and identity, but also making it impossible to conceal the existence of the upcoming Grail War. As the mystery loli breaks down in her most hysterical fit of laughter yet, Saber, or as he is now revealed, Arthur Pendragon, stands proud in this new world, determined to make up for the damage he's caused with his arrival here. Bro's a complete moron.